Here we go. Also, I forgot to ask you for the intro because I'm on my other laptop, so I don't have the
Uh,
intro.
we don't have an
Whatever.
intro.
We don't have an intro. We don't have an intro. Boom, boom. Just a lot of simple tricks and nonsense. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Simple Tricks and Nonsense. I am one of your hosts, Matt Kearns, and my co-host, who doesn't like to call himself a co-host, is
Julián Araujo.
he saw Blue Beetle. Now he's just like super Latino.
I watched. Oh, that's the last movie I saw in theaters. It was
Kidding.
Blue Beetle. I was fucking falling asleep watching, but not because it was
Hey
not because it was
guys,
boring, not because it was boring, because it was me.
another edition of Abe goes to see a movie he liked, but he fell asleep because he goes to see movies at fucking midnight, even though it's well
No, no,
documented.
no. This was 3 p.m.
Oh, what the hell, man? There's like 90 sometimes you can ask Abe, and it's recorded on this channel. Like when we did the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood thing, Manning and me and him and Malcolm and Ryan were talking about it. He was like, so I saw it opening day, but I fell asleep watching it.
And then I rewatched it and then I really liked it.
Well, I could say even more racist things, but I'm not going to. It has
Look, I can
what's
make
his
you a
name?
list of movies I watched while I was sleeping the last
What's
couple of years.
what's the main
Moonfall.
actor's name?
For what? For Blue Beetle?
Yeah, Blue Beetle.
Cholo Maridueña.
Yeah, because he's on Cobra Kai. I really like him on Cobra Kai. I don't. You don't watch Cobra Kai, right?
No, I actually have a life.
What the fuck does that mean? That's such a weird fucking thing.
I'm just busting balls here.
Yeah, no, he's really good on that. I was telling Abe beforehand, I probably will get around to seeing it, but it's just the trailers. It looks like a little bit of a messy movie. And after the Flash trailers looked like a messy movie, and then it was a messy movie, I was just like, I'm
You know
gonna
what a movie?
wait on this one.
It reminded me of the first Ant-Man. Kind of.
Okay. You're
Kind.
piquing my fancy now.
Kind of
Because I
the...
really like that one.
No, yeah, like... Kind of... Like, it's not big. It's kind of small on scale, but still does the job. You know, evil corporation.
Okay.
Good guy. That has a degree.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
with less
like I said,
white people and more Mexicans.
nice. Representation, DC. You're doing it. Before you reboot the universe and Blue Beetle's not in it.
Actually, it doesn't feel like a... I mean, maybe. I don't watch a lot of streaming movies. But it doesn't feel like a streaming movie. It just feels like a low-budget superhero film. Low
Yeah,
budget
which
in
is
terms of 100
totally
million.
fine.
Not a $300 million
Which I think
blockbuster.
is totally okay. Because I think, as we see, not just even DC, just most movies in general, just with their big budgets, it makes it so much harder to make a profit. Like, and this is the thing that is so weird because it's like movies are just like the ultimate example of like you have to put in money to make money, but the problem is the more money you put in, the
The more
higher
money
the
you have.
bar is set for making money. Because then the other thing with movies is like there's so because like a movie will have like a reported budget of like I'm just picking Blue Beetle and I don't know what it is, but like Blue Beetle costs
$104 million.
yeah, 104 million. But the thing is that's literally just like its base budget. That doesn't include reshoots normally. It certainly doesn't include marketing and all this other shit that then adds on to that. And then it's like, so let's just say it's 100 million. It needs to make at least 400 to be considered a success. Like it needs to make at least 300 to 400 million to be a success. Because if it makes let's say 200 million, that's probably what it costs, including all the other shit you got to do. It's insane. Like, and that's why there's movies like that are considered failures. That when you look at the box office, you're like, oh, don't know, that's pretty good. But then you're like, yeah, but this went into the marketing budget, and this went into this shit, and this went into that shit. And you're like, oh, oh no, yeah. So I don't know. I'll check it out at some point. I will see it like a lot of movies. I will see it at some point. Talking about movies and watching them not in theaters. Did you hear about Barbie? Is coming to
What
the
about Barbie?
it's coming to digital like rental in September.
Yes, I know that. I saw
So okay, so this is the thing. So a lot of people were like losing their minds over this, and they were like, "This is the dumbest decision Warner Bros. Could have ever made." The movie's making a ton of money, and it is. But I was watching the John Campea show this week, and Robert Meyer Burnett was on, and he explained it really well to where he's like, people don't understand that like deals like this happen like a year in advance of the movie because there's like the marketing that comes into play for digital release and all this stuff. That September date was set way before Barbie came out, and you can't change it now because to change it, you probably would have to pay money to all the different providers who have already made up, like even like it's so stupid, but those little like sidebar advertisements for like Barbie available on digital now, that you see when you go on Google or something, like yeah, like Apple and Google and all of a sudden they paid to like make those graphics and put those out. So if a studio just went, nah, we're not going to release it now, yeah. So I think that is a case of sometimes the film Twitter public not understanding how like movies work. Like they don't get how these things are done. That there's like deals and there's contracts that are signed. Once again, way before a movie is even released in theaters. And like John and Rob said, I don't think they expected Barbie to perform this well, which is probably why they picked September, because they were probably like, look, this movie's, we're hoping it does good, but if it doesn't, at least it's only going to be in theaters for July, August, and then we can get all the digital sales going. Now I'm sure they're like, fuck, but which is not the first time this has happened. What do you call it? Back in '89, what was it? Batman, the first one with Michael Keaton. Its video release came out like, I remember watching a video on YouTube about this. It came out like a couple of months after the movie came out, and like smaller theater chains were like pissed off because they're like, we're still playing the movie and it's still like making money for us, but now people can buy the videotape and like not come and see the movie. But that's because they were trying to catch E.T. because at the time E.T. was like the highest selling like videotape, and they were trying to. So it's not unusual for Hollywood to do this stuff. Talking about other things with fans, did you happen to watch Ahsoka yet?
Nope.
Nope.
You can give me your thoughts.
Abe hasn't seen a Star Wars project since I'm going to be fair, since Rise of Skywalker in 2019.
I watched the first episode of Mandalorian.
Season 1?
Yes.
Damn, boy. All right, that's fine.
And the one where like the 5 minutes of the Luke Skywalker cameo.
Oh, okay. So you did see one of the best parts of that show. So Ahsoka.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
My quick thoughts. I think it's good. I think it's a nice continuation of like Clone Wars Rebels. But that's not really what I want to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is how much I hate fucking Star Wars fans. Because
how come?
By God. So there was this other show that came out, what was it, last year, I think? Called Andor, which is a prequel to Rogue One, taking the character Cassian Andor, played by Diego Luna. And people apparently really love this show. They released the first 3 episodes. I watched them and I was like, I'm fucking bored by this. I have no discernible interest in watching this. Never intended to finish it. But apparently, Star Wars fans have decided, like, this is the greatest Star Wars thing ever. So much so now that, like, and you can see it on, like, Rotten Tomatoes, you can see it on Twitter, people are, like, bitching and complaining about Ahsoka because it's not like Andor. And like it's just super annoying because it's like they're two different things. Like Andor, which I can appreciate, was trying to be like Rogue One. It was trying to be
I
more
don't
of
know if
like
Matthew Kearns is listening to us right now. I don't
I
know if
can
he's
hear you.
frozen or am I the one
I'm not
frozen?
frozen. I'm not
He
frozen.
seems frozen.
I'm not frozen.
Is he frozen?
I'm not frozen. Oh no. Oh, vey. Welcome to the wonderful world of streaming. If you saw our last episode, you'll know all about this funness. Always when I'm talking. Always, always, always when I'm right in the middle of always when I'm right in the middle of talking. My god. Now we wait. Do, 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 do. Now we wait for Abe to get back. And he's back. Welcome back, Abe. We're gonna get copyrighted. We're gonna get
That's why I only
copyrighted.
put 5 seconds.
You did. Do you watch I'll get back to my Star Wars thing, but did you watch that Zoe 102 movie on Paramount
Yes,
Plus
I
yet?
did. Of course I did.
I
Of course I
didn't. How was it?
did. It was kind of bad.
Okay, because I honestly, genuinely heard no one. I didn't even know it came out. Like I saw the market for it, and then it just like came out, and I heard no one talk about it, which led me to go, "This is probably not good." Okay, but back to my Star Wars thing. So, as I'm saying, Andor was trying to be like Rogue One. It was trying to be like about like the spy thriller stuff of Star Wars and all this other whatever. Whereas Ahsoka's not that. It's a continuation basically of Rebels and of the character of Ahsoka and like Sabine and Hera. So it's more like classic Star Wars, like lightsabers and the Force and a quest and all this. So yeah, it is so annoying that Star Wars fans are just like, it's not like Andor, therefore it's terrible and it shouldn't exist. And I miss the days when pretty much everyone agreed Empire was like the high watermark of Star Wars. And even if no other project got to that level, it didn't mean it was terrible. Like, you never heard anyone go, oh, well, Star Wars The Clone Wars isn't as good as Empire, so it's terrible. No, no one said that. But now we exist in this world to where they've decided this show, which once again I laugh at, that I'm like, the fucking apparently greatest Star Wars thing ever. I couldn't even get past the third episode of. Um, which I'm fully prepared as more people talk about it and I say that to get the like, oh, you can't even judge the show. You do. And I'm like, I can judge 3 episodes. They can judge that they were boring as crap. Oh my god,
Yeah,
the
you can
villain
judge
of
a
the
show
show.
if you don't have watched this whole show.
I'm judging the 3 episodes I saw. Which I'm sorry, I give
No,
shows
Jim,
3 episodes. If you can't, if I can't get into a show by episode 3, I'm not wasting my time. But dude, the villain of the show was so like, so boring. He like had nothing to him. He was just this like, and that's the other thing. He wasn't even like working for the Empire. And I spent most of the first episode thinking they were the Empire, but they're wearing like orange and blue outfits. And then it was like, oh, they're not the Empire. Who are they? Oh my god. And then there was just some like random hot chick who was hot, but just oh my god. And also, and look, it's fine to an extent, but I'm also like, what's even what's even the point of getting into casting Andor as a character? I already know where Stale ends. Ends on Spirit with the Death Star blowing him up. So whatever. Which again, it's fine. I watched the prequels and I know all
By
the
that
stories.
point,
For those
by that
characters.
point, you will make the same argument as for like, what's the point of the prequels if you know
No,
where Anakin
exactly. That's
Skywalker ends?
yeah. I know. Yeah. It was just a joke, but yeah. Apparently, it's really good. I don't care. But again, it's fine if you don't like Ahsoka. Like I think that's fine. But if your reasoning for hating the show is because it's not like just one series, that is not even in the same vein. Like I said, Andor's in the vein of Rogue One, which is more about like the troops on the ground, stuff like that. Ahsoka is more classic Star Wars with Jedi's and the Force and all this shit. So like, it's not even the same ballpark. But you know, Star Wars fans be like that. And I said on Facebook, I made a post about it, and I was just like, and that will be this way until Lucasfilm and Disney release something else that Star Wars fans decide to be the greatest thing ever, and then Andor's gonna suck in comparison. So
Can I kind of feel bad for Star Wars because end up being one of the biggest franchises on earth, and it just I haven't watched the show, so I won't criticize the shows. But it just feels like bad TV show after bad TV
oh
show.
oh yeah, so oh no. Star Wars is like it used to be like the Ferrari of like brands. Like it was just top of the line. It was great. Now it's not special anymore. Disney has ran it into the ground because now it's instead of it being, you know, you get a movie every couple of years and then there's a period of time where you don't get movies, but maybe you get a show like Clone Wars and then you get a show like Rebels, so that there's only one thing going on at a time. Now you just get fucking you get Book of Boba, you get fucking Andor, you get all this stuff, and it's because you know it's not like no one's excited. Like even though I was looking forward to Ahsoka, it wasn't like in the lead up to say Force Awakens or something, you know, or Rise of Skywalker, you know, to where like I was hyped and I was prepared. I did, you know, binged all the movies beforehand and all this. Now it's like Ahsoka came out and I watched the first two episodes, but it wasn't like I watched all of Rebels before, you know, like I just yeah, Star Wars is special. It's like Marvel. Disney just continues to squeeze water out of the towel, and there's just less and less coming out. And that doesn't mean the products they're producing are bad. It's just they're overproducing because their streaming service is failing spectacularly, and like these are the only two brands people care about that they own. So they just need to continue to squeeze. I mean, that is the thing is the legacy of Star Wars now is just going to be like so there was these 6 movies and then Disney happened and now it's just like there's fucking 25 different projects. Like I remember when in
Let's
post
be
Revenge of the
honest.
Sith,
How many new fans of Star Wars are there? Sí, vete a la verga.
what? You okay?
No, Siri, no. Sorry, my Siri activated itself.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna ask, how many Star Wars fans do you think have been created because of the shows and the new movies and
I don't know. I mean, obviously the sequel trilogy. Look, there's definitely a generation that, like, in the same way I got introduced to Star Wars through Phantom Menace, there were definitely kids who like their first intro to Star Wars was like the sequel trilogy, you know. And now I think I would say maybe now with Disney Plus, you know, like because now all the movies are on there, depending on the parents. Like I think maybe sort of Disney Plus is introduced to start, but like I don't think any of these shows are like creating Star Wars fans, you know? Like I think they're for the fans, but I can't imagine anybody I'm sorry, my sister's dog is I don't know what she's doing. I don't think they're making like I don't think there's any kid who's like browsing Disney Plus and is going to watch Ahsoka, having never seen a Star Wars thing. Like, I don't think that's happening at all. Do I get to bring up my favorite manner? I think so. Oh no, he's back. Yeah, I don't think that. That's what. What did I do?
Nothing.
What the hell was that? You're like, oh.
It's because you get
Cut
frozen for
it
a bit for
out.
me.
Okay,
No,
well, you
it's
were
because you get
frozen for
frozen.
me. You were
Yeah.
frozen for me.
Well,
Okay.
that what happened, and I
Yeah,
just said stupid things and see
but it,
what.
but it's also like Marvel at this point. Like, are new Marvel projects creating fans?
Oh, I
I'm
don't
saying,
think
like, I
so.
just feel like that's what I'm saying. I just feel like in a post-sequel trilogy world, I don't think any of these new projects are creating fans. Like, I feel like
But I, th-
any
I,
parent,
I think. Look,
because
I
I
feel
can't
I
imagine
was on
any
the.
parent who, like, their kids haven't seen Star Wars are like, all right, you're watching The Mandalorian. Like, I can't imagine any parent who's a Star Wars fan not introducing them to one of the movies first.
So when you start getting your fandom, like at 12, 11, like when you start being.
Wait, what?
Let me try to formulate this correctly. So you become obsessed usually as a kid with things, right?
Yeah,
Usually when you get to puberty,
puberty.
puberty and
Yeah,
adolescence,
yeah.
like those things kind of get away, like TV gets second, especially our generation. And I think we were right at the time where we were transitioning to puberty when the Marvel
Mm-hmm.
things come out, like or people our age, which
Yeah,
make
well, what was
us
it? We were 11 when Iron Man came out? It was 08?
yeah
Yeah.
11, 12. Like from 10 to 13 years old, like
Yeah,
your
I mean,
fandom is there, dude.
the first movie I ever saw in the theater with a friend with no, like, parent accompanying us was Iron Man 2. Like, so
Yeah,
yeah, and that
so
was.
and people right now are having those kids. You know, it's been 15 years. You better start. You better start having kids, motherfucker.
Dude, I saw, oh my God, my friend sent me something to where it's like, we're now in the age bracket to where people went to high school with are going to start getting married and having kids. And it's like, and then I look at my life and I'm like, oh, I'm so far off from any of that.
Oh no, yeah, yeah. Oh, a lot of
Dude, I'm
people that
spending my
I knew in my
Wednesday night
youth.
talking about Star Wars and Marvel with you. You think I'm having a kid anytime soon?
Well, I have no idea. Hopefully that is it.
Whatever. Enough of our sad lives. But yeah, I do agree that, like, there there I do agree that that's sort of like 11 to 13, because I think that's the time to where, like, you're the things you're a fan of, you really start, because you just have more access to things. Like, so, like, with Star Wars, like, I've been a Star Wars fan since I was 3 years old. But by the time I was into middle school, like, that's when I started really reading, like, the comics and video games and all this other peripheral stuff that it went beyond the movies. Um, yeah, and then of course, yeah, like you said with Marvel, we were like the target age range when Marvel started of like 11 to 13. Like, we were freshmen in high school when the first Avengers movie came out. That was like a
I
massive
feel
movie, I remember.
I feel like how can I say? I
Go ahead.
feel we were like the last generation of having like TV being our main focus of entertainment. So therefore,
Oh, dude, I've talked about this before. We're the last
we get
generation where,
like
like,
the animated.
we got introduced to so many movies through television. Like, we were that last generation, because I know they still play movies on TV, but not in the regularity they used to. Like we were that last generation. Yeah, you're right. We were less like TV generation to where
and
like
and
there
and
were
you know who I saw it with? I saw it with my friend's little brother. He's
what?
10 years old.
Oh, you
He's not
saw
like
you.
you don't see him like
Well,
play with with any cartoon and stuff. Like he likes Mr. Beast. He likes
yeah, no, they're watching.
the
Dude,
influencers.
dude, I got a freaking 10-year-old cousin myself. He wants to be a Twitch streamer when he grows up. He said that to
Exactly.
me. Like that's
Exactly.
he's watching YouTube. He literally I was talking with him. This was a month or two ago about Star Wars because I showed him my watch, and his dad was telling me, my cousin was telling me, he tried to show him Star Wars and there was just no interest because he knows all the plots already. He's watched like so many YouTube videos. He has no interest in sitting down and watching the movies. Like that's just nothing for him.
That's why if I'm ever a parent, hopefully I'm not. I want my kids are gonna live like in 1950,
Dude,
and we're gonna
no,
watch all the Godfather movies on a
you know
loop
the Godfather movies
for
came
his
out
first.
in the 70s, right? And Abe's frozen again.
Ooh, are you ready?
Ooh, ooh, I know you see me step. Okay, okay, but you know what? Going back to that, talking about that. So at my college graduation, which was kind of a mess because my graduating class, we were because I went to kind of a small school. We originally they would have the commencement ceremony at the school, but my graduating class was so big they just couldn't do that. So the problem with that was they just weren't used to handling a graduation. So my graduation ceremony was like super long, and communications, we were like the first, people who got our degrees. We went up and then we just had to sit there for the remainder of this stuff. And Abe's frozen, so he's not even listening to me.
No, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Oh, okay.
If I'm frozen, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Yeah, yeah,
High
yeah.
school graduation, really big.
No, college graduation.
College
Yeah, so
graduation.
we're all sitting around, we're just bullshitting, and me and my friend Jerdy, we start and some other people, we all start trying to like name the like best like theme songs from our childhood, and then we were like singing all of them. We were like singing like SpongeBob and Zach and Cody and Nancy Classified, and we all knew all the words because going back to what you said, we all watched the same shows growing up. Like all the kids in our age, we all watched Sweet Life of Zach and Cody and Grim Adventures of Billy Mandy and SpongeBob and Wizards of Waverly Place. Like, and everyone knows that stuff. Nowadays, dude, you get a fucking like bunch of people in the same age range that are like older now and be like, what was your like favorite show to watch like when you were whatever, when you were 12 or something? You'll get like 500 different answers from like 75 different streaming shows.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
based on the what that want to watch. Or does you
we had
that want
three
to watch
channels.
The
There was Nick,
Sopranos or
Disney, there was Nick, Disney, and
Cartoon
Cartoon
Network?
Network. There were
Yeah,
three, and we watched every kid watched all of them. There were ones that
yeah,
you had
yeah.
a little bit more commitment to, but those were the channels we all watched.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it's
yes,
insane.
yes.
And then also now you throw in YouTube, and it's just like there's so much shit. Like you're talking about this, like Mr. Beast, like who's fucking doing that on YouTube at that time? Like no one was doing those things. Vlogging wasn't really a thing until like a little later into YouTube. Like it's insane, and I really am happy
N-
that we were born when we were born because I felt
I
like
blogging 2009.
like I'm so sorry. Oh yes, hello Stella. She's such a little baby herself, or little human. Yes, I'm showing you love. I know I haven't been paying attention to you exactly. Sorry, Abe. She's just gonna be over my shoulder now. Hit it. Come on, Stella. Hit it. Come on, hit it. Yeah. Yeah, good girl. Sorry about that. Distraction of a dog. So what was I saying? What were we talking about?
Generation kids.
Yeah. So I was talking to my cousin about this because she just had her first kid, and we were talking about like, so her brother's kids. Two of them are like going into like first grade, I think, or maybe even kindergarten, but I think first grade. They have cell phones already. They have iPhones, like full
Yes,
functioning
yes, yes,
iPhones.
yes, yes, yes,
And I'm
yes,
like,
yes.
that's fucking insane. I got my first cell phone when I was in middle school, and I got it because I was starting to do extracurricular things, and I was just getting home before my mom was home. So it was for like necessity purposes. Like, that's why I got it. I didn't get it just because, oh, this is, you know, I got it for necessity's sake. But yeah, now that's what you have. Like, if I have kids,
For
I'm
bare
telling you, man,
necessities.
they're gonna, yeah, the bare necessities, the simple little KFC recipes. I don't know. That's not the words. But I'm gonna make my kids live like I lived. Like, none of that shit until you get into middle school. Like, you get a cell phone, you get that. They're not going on YouTube until they're in middle school because if YouTube even exists by then, um, yeah, no, because and it's sad really because like I said, like that moment I had at my college graduation, like we were able to have that because we all had a shared experience of this stuff, and now movies, TV, like there's none of that stuff. Even Marvel now, I feel like isn't even a shared experience because there's just so much that I feel like most kids like they'll watch, like some will have watched WandaVision and Hawkeye and all this, but other ones were like, nah, I don't watch that stuff. And I didn't see Ant-Man and Quantumanium and blah, blah.
I want to show my kids movies from 1909. I want to bring what
1909,
the
okay.
shit out of.
Abe's gonna
I
make
want to bring.
Abe's gonna make his kids think they're living in 1960. They're gonna have like a black and white television. He's gonna buy an old
Yeah.
car.
No, I have
It's
a
not gonna
really.
let his
I
kids
have.
go outside until and then the kids are just gonna walk outside and you're gonna see like an iPhone by that point probably like 27 and they're gonna be like, what is this? And they'll come back home and Abe will be like, yes, we're living in
I
the
have
year
something I
20
cannot. I cannot have.
50.
I yeah. I have something I cannot have
It's gonna
recorded,
be like
which
the
is a
fucking
joke.
Matrix to where it's like you think it's the year 1999, but it's actually close to the year 2099.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so
What?
sorry. That's fucking great to think. It's like that episode of South Park. Whatever. Continue. I'm so sorry.
Did you
Oh,
see, did you see read did you read the private chat?
uh,
Then read it out loud. Yeah, we can say this thing like we cannot have that
oh,
recorded.
Jesus, man. Oh, oh man.
Yeah,
Whew.
the kids.
That
Yeah,
was good.
yeah.
Yeah. Right. Abe's just
That's
gonna walk
why.
around exclusively in a ribbed wife beater
Yes.
with cigarette. He's just gonna be
Why
smoking
are those
constantly.
Why are those things called wife beaters? That's
Gabe, we're gonna
with
give
me.
you two guesses, but you're only gonna need one
Like,
because
you know
okay. Because
what's a really aggressive
the,
name?
the reason
Go ahead. Go ahead.
is because it really comes down to in popular culture in like the gangster movies and all this other stuff. Whenever there was that mean drunk guy who hit his wife, for some reason he was always wearing one of those sleeveless ribbed white undershirts. So just over time, people just referred to them as wife beaters. It's a horrible name. You say it and
Mm.
you don't even understand the context behind it. Like, but yeah, no, that's why. It's just it's fucked up. I remember oh my god, I remember one time being at church And we used to do this thing to where it was like this summer thing to where like we called it lock in, where it was just like it was an overnight thing at the church. It was really fun. It was like a youth thing. It was always one night during the summer, and there would be a theme to it usually. And one year the theme was like superheroes, so everyone came dressed up as like superheroes. And one of my friends, he was Wolverine, but he was just wearing like a gray like shirt or something. And I just not even thinking of it, I just said, "Oh, what are you doing? You're supposed to be wearing a wife beater." And I just remember one of the moms who like ran the thing was just like, Matt, just don't call it that. And I was like, oh, sorry. Like I didn't even think about it because it's just so like in the public verbiage. But yeah, that is why. Um, yeah. You were talking about Godfather and like talk about hitting. Now I'm just thinking about Sonny and how it's so upsetting he didn't get to beat the shit out of Connie's husband. Would have loved that. It would have been amazing. Because we got a taste of it. But like when Sonny gets in that car after Connie calls him and
Poor
tells him
kids.
that he was gonna fucking murder that guy.
And like make
Which
these super
again, we all
athletes
know if you watch the movie, that
just
was
to
the
make money out
whole
of the country.
point. The whole point was Connie's husband hit her like that because he knew she would call Sonny and Sonny would get so pissed off they would. We know. I understand that's the point of the movie, but still. So if Sonny didn't die and he remained the Don, is the Corleone family still the head of the five families come Godfather 2 or not?
Yes.
Okay. I've heard some people say no. They don't
It's from
think
my sisters will tell
they
me.
and well and people say it because they're like Sonny didn't have the like smarts of Michael, like in that way, like the cunning, like evil smarts of Michael. He had more like rage to him than that. I don't know. I think he would have been a good Don. But Sonny's my favorite
You think
Godfather
you think you
character.
think Michael? You think Michael was bad from nature,
What?
by nature? You
No,
think Michael wasn't actually a bad guy?
I no. I think it's all circumstance. I think because look, when you meet Michael at the beginning of that first movie, like he's gone to war, like there's that whole scene with Kay to where he's like, telling her the story of the musician and whatever, and like that's my father's business, Kay. Like that's not mine. Like Michael really was kind of like separate, but it's really all the events that happened throughout that movie, like the hit being performed on Vito, the police chief punching Michael going to Italy, marrying Apollonia and having her murdered, like Sonny being murdered, like all these things lead to Michael going down the path he does. Okay.
I got lost in the shuffle. I got a call from my dad, so I kind
You're
of
fine.
sorry.
Were you
Well, you were
listening to
saying
what I was
Michael
saying?
is actually has went been through a lot of things. Is what
Oh,
you're
okay.
saying?
So I'll just say it all again. So like when we meet Michael at the beginning of the movie, like he's just out of World War II. He's won the Congressional Medal of Honor. There's that scene at the wedding with Kay where he's like describing the what's the Johnny Fontaine, like that whole story to where like Vito and whatever, and he's like, that's my father's business, Kay. Like it's not mine. Like he's separate from that world. But then there's so
Yes.
many things that happen. Like there's the hit is performed on Vito. The attempt on Vito's life is made at the hospital. The police chief punches Michael. Then Michael, kills the two of them, goes to Italy, marries Apollonia. Apollonia gets murdered. Sonny gets murdered. Like all these things lead to
Apollonia.
Michael. all these things lead to Michael becoming who he does by the sort of end of that movie and then leading into Godfather 2. But no, I don't think Michael was born evil, you know. Well, and the reason I was saying that is because people have talked about how when you look at Vito's three sons, each one of them got a different part of him. So Sonny got his rage and violence, Michael got his smarts, and Fredo got his heart. And the reason why Vito was such a good Don is because he had all three of those things, to where each one of the sons only had one of the things. Which is why
Don
Michael's a
Corleone.
terrible Don, because he doesn't he sort of has some of the rage, but he doesn't have the heart. And you see it so much Godfather Part 2. Like, you know, like the family is not the same unit it is when we meet them in Godfather, like at all.
Nope, they're not.
Nope. Michael Corleone. Do you consider him one of the best on-screen villains of all time?
I don't think he's a villain.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
It's like
No, just
it's
because
like calling
AFI lists him as one of the best villains, so I was just
no, but I don't. It's like calling the Joker from the Joker movie a villain. For me,
okay.
a villain is somebody that it's kind of an antagonist.
Okay.
And how can you be the antagonist of your story?
I don't know. If you watch Godfather Part 2, like, Michael's doing a lot of shady, crappy things.
But you have to be like, yeah, it's antagonist. Like for a villain, like I think antagonistic
So
is
you're
lame.
saying, like, you're saying to be a villain, you can't really be the main character.
No,
Okay.
it's like Maleficent. Have you watched it? You know, like which comparison?
I saw the
But
first
like,
one.
yeah, but it's kind of you're not the villain of your story.
Well, the whole fucking point of that movie is like, what if she wasn't really the villain? What if she was
I
just
know, I know. I hate that movie with passion, bro.
terrible? What's so funny is when you watch the original, it's like she puts this curse on this girl because she didn't get invited to a baptism. It's like, dude, baptisms suck. They're fucking boring. Why would you want to go? Why would you want to
I
go to a baptism?
I got I got baptized when I was like 9,
Yeah.
and it was kind of
Yeah, it's like it's a nice thing. Like it's, you know, if you're religious and look, my parents just went to a baptism on Saturday. Like it's because it's like ultimately it's like, so you go to the church service and it's like either it's a church service that is specifically for the baptism, or you're at a full Sunday church service, or
I
and
was
then
at
you
a
go to a
full.
what?
I was part of this. It wasn't just for myself. It was like the whole service.
Yeah,
You know?
well, I was too. I was baptized during church. During church, I hadn't. I've been to baptisms where it's like on a Saturday and it's just for the baptism. It's not like an actual service, which
Look,
probably
man,
means
I
you
have
have
an
to like.
idea.
I have to assume that like you have to like pay for that. I have to assume that it's like a wedding. Like you have to reserve the church for that. To which I'm like, kind of a fucking waste of money. You know, just go to fucking church, like, and just set it up so that partway through service there's the baptism.
No, you
Like,
have to pay, and you have to pay for the baptism during service too.
oh really? I don't
Yes,
fuck it.
fuck yeah.
I'm just taking my kid to a pool and I'm just doing it myself. I'll get fucking ordained online to do a baptism.
Dude, we should do our own religion, and we baptize people with a fireman hose, just like high ass pressure.
No, no, dude, not fireman hose. We'll do it like how they did during COVID with a water pistol.
No, I want people to get injured, bro. Would it be
Okay,
funny
but
to see?
how are we gonna get a fireman hose? You can't just fucking get a fireman hose.
I bet you can.
It's like I'm sure there exists a place. Maybe that's a part of our religion. Maybe we'll get a firefighter to join a religion. He'll bring a truck for us because like he's like, no, wait a second. Are we starting a religion or a cult?
No, it's a religion.
Okay. Well, maybe
We
we'll
don't
just
want
get
to
one.
take people's. Well, we want to take people's money away, but like Catholics do it, you know.
How do Catholics do it?
Like, oh, it's for the poor and shit like that, bro. It's the salary for
And then
it.
it's like, not really.
Yeah, like
Is no one paying attention to you?
I think if you see the characteristics of a cult and a religion, they're kind of the same.
Yeah. I mean, I've always said ultimately,
We don't want to take advantage of people. Just
there's
their money.
look. This is what I'll just say about religion. Ultimately, like believe what you want to believe, but technically speaking, every religion is kind of a cult. Like
Yes.
they all are, because it's like again, because people will, talk about like Scientology and all these things, and I'm just like, yeah, but how is a lot of that very different from what like Christians or Buddhists or like Jewish people do? It's just for some reason one has been considered to be acceptable and the other isn't. Because like we're sitting here talking about baptism, like technically couldn't that be like a real weird cultish thing that's like, yeah, fucking your baby's got to get fucking water poured on its head or else it's going to hell when it dies. It's like, yeah, it is a weird thing that we all just kind of accepted, isn't it? And we don't question it.
Okay, from my little Google search is that a cult is more like secret and their practices.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Like,
secrecy is part of
so
the
this is
cult.
the thing. When I was a kid and you would hear about cults, like, I always thought of it as like that. Like, I always thought about like that, like satanic, like that stuff that basically like really hardcore like Christian people try to convince you
I
Dungeons
would
and
think about
Dragons is.
that Simpson episode, that society that Homer becomes
Oh yeah, yeah.
part of.
The what is it? The
I don't
Stonecutters.
remember. Yeah,
Yeah, I think Stonecutters.
that's
Yeah,
what I
like
think of it.
that.
That's
Like
my
that's
reference
what
of a
I
cult.
think of it is. Now I know that that's half the case, but like I don't know, man. Ultimately, this is my belief on religion in general. Believe what you want to believe, so long as you're not hurting people, it's fine. Because that's the other thing is people will be like, "Oh, Scientology, they do this, that, and the other." I'm like, you want to look into the history of Catholicism? You want to watch the movie Spotlight? Just saying, like, you
Do you
know.
wanna watch Passion of the Christ?
Do you want to talk about the Crusades? Maybe. I'm just saying, some people do
That's a
some
good
fucked
name
up
for a
things
restaurant, the Crusade.
people do some fucked up things in the name of religion. Let's just be honest. They do. I don't know. We went from fucking talking about kids TV to Godfather to now what is a religion versus a cult. I can bring it back though. Talking about baptisms though, I don't know about you, but I can never go to a baptism. And my sister's gonna have her first kid in November, and that kid's gonna get baptized, so it will happen there too. I can't
Are
when
you
they
gonna be
start
the
asking.
Godfather?
Oh fuck no,
Yeah, you
no.
bitch.
But I'm just saying, I cannot when they get to that moment to where they're asking the godparents all those things. All I think about is just Godfather. Michael Corleone, do you renounce the devil? I renounce the devil. Like I just think about that, and I think about fucking all the doors being open, guy getting shot, Mo Green getting shot in the eye. Like that's what I'm thinking about during a very beautiful ceremony. Is I'm just thinking about Al Pacino saying he rejects the devil and sin whilst ordering the deaths of several people.
Dude, the last time I was in a church was
Christmas.
how old am I? 15 years ago.
Jesus. You're not
I
even a
haven't been in.
Kermeister.
No, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in
Oh, you're
shit.
an atheist. Okay. Fair
Yes,
enough.
yes. Well, that I was in a church for service. I went to a church the other day because tourism.
Okay. I mean, I don't
I went to
really, to
Guadalajara.
be honest, like I'm religious. I'm a Lutheran. Like I go to church every Sunday. I pray, like all these things. But like I don't care. Like, I know people who are like crazy to where like if you're an atheist, blah blah blah, and it's just like to me, I'm just like you don't have to believe in God. I just my thing is, and again, I'm not judging you, but my thing is just like if you don't believe in God, that's fine or whatever. But just like I hope you have a just like I hope there's something, even if it's just like your mom or something. Like I just hope there's something you can turn to during the rough times. Because that's me, and I literally just dealt with this the other day, to where like I was dealing with an issue and whatever, and like I'll be honest, I prayed, and it felt really good after I did it. Like it felt really nice to just like
I don't have
do
that.
that,
I
and
don't
that's
have that.
fine. Again,
I
that's what I'm
you know
saying.
how
I
I
just I
like rough times are like, well, this is life. That's
and you know what?
that's
That's fine.
my process.
That's that's
No,
fine.
I know, and and I say when I tell people that I'm not religious and I don't believe in anything, I was telling I will
Mhm.
never question your faith. I will never disrespect your
Well,
faith.
that's so like my brother,
You know?
you know, like he because he's a scientist. He all this stuff he doesn't believe. Like he hasn't gotten to the point to where he'll say he's an atheist, but he's pretty much there. Like he's one of those people to where like he, you know, not that I think he like believes he might believe in the Big Bang. I don't know, but like he's one of those people to where like to him because like he's a scientist. Like there's like you know X, Y, and Z
Makes zero sense.
equals two. You know, like
Mm.
there's there are solutions and answers. So to him, religion there's technically there's no solution because there's no way to track where God began all these things. And it's just like, and that's fine that he doesn't believe. Like, I don't care. Like, for me, I believe in God. Like, I do believe in the stories of the Bible. Like, I do believe in all those things. And if he doesn't, like, I'm not like
No,
sitting there being like,
I,
well, you're going to hell when you die. Like, I don't
I,
care about that stuff. You
I,
know,
I, I just look. My thing is, I find it really hard to think that destiny is written down by somebody, and that we were created by this big omnibus being,
mm-hmm.
if you want to say, like it for me didn't happen. Like I cannot believe it. Like I'm sure it didn't happen. Like I truly believe
Yeah.
it didn't happen.
And you're like my brother. And meanwhile, I believe it did happen. And ultimately,
Like
at
I
the end
don't.
of the day, neither one of us is wrong because and that's the thing. It's just, and that's, I don't like how non civil people can be about these things to where it's just like, no, blah, blah, blah. It's like, me and Abe are going to go on about our lives, and I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, Abe, enjoy burning in hell. Nor are you going to be like, well, Matt, enjoy turning to dust when you
But
die. Because there's nothing. Um, yeah.
if hell turns out to be true,
Yeah.
tell you this motherfucker, I had the best time of my life, and I'm gonna have a hell of a time.
Wait, you were breaking
We're
up. All I heard was if hell
I'm not
exists,
afraid of.
man.
Okay, am I back?
I think so.
Am I back? I'm
Yes.
gonna have a time. Yeah, if it's true.
You
Like I'm not afraid of
wait.
it. Like I
Okay.
was talking with a friend one time.
You know what? I'm gonna
He's
bring us
really
to a lighter
religious.
thing. You want
He's
you
I
want to
mean he's
hear a
not really.
joke?
No, I don't. It's I don't. Do you feel comfortable talking about this topic? I feel like.
No, I don't. I don't feel uncomfortable. I just even though no one watches this, I don't because people get so weird about religion. I don't need people who watch this to like judge us. Like, because this is my thing is like I don't need to be judged because I'm sitting here saying that I pray and do all these things. Because people are weird about that. Like,
I'm just gonna last thing.
yeah,
Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
yeah. Okay, but so I'll tell my joke and we'll get on to happy things. So these three women, they all die in a car crash together, and they all go to heaven. And at the gates of heaven, Saint Peter's there, and he says, you know, welcome to heaven. He says, so in heaven we have just one rule: don't step on a duck. And they all go, okay. The gates open, and there are a lot of ducks everywhere. So one of the women, she doesn't even make it a day. She steps on a duck. St. Peter comes with this just gross, disgusting, ugly man, and he chains the man to her, and he says, because you stepped on the duck, your penance is you must walk through eternity with this man. Okay. So the next friend, she makes it a couple weeks. She steps on a duck. Same thing. St. Peter comes with this grotesque, disgusting guy, chains him. Because you stepped on a duck for your penance, you must walk eternity with this man. The other woman, she's doing great. She makes it like a year, never, and then, she doesn't step on a duck, nothing. And St. Peter comes and he has this beautiful, like Adonis guy, like 6 foot, like beautiful man, chains him to her and doesn't say anything. He walks away and she goes, oh, I can't imagine what I did, to be given this blessing. And the guy looks at her and just goes, I don't know. He told me I stepped on a duck. Isn't that fucking great? Again, it's one of those things to where it's like the platypus. It's like, it's nice to think God has a sense of humor like that. Oh my god. I love that joke. I told you the broccoli one though, right?
I don't know. Which one's the broccoli one?
Okay. So the broccoli one, there's a guy who's working in a grocery store, works in the produce department. He's stacking stuff, whatever. This woman comes up to him and says, excuse me, sir, I can't find the broccoli. He goes, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. We have a shortage on it. We don't have any anymore, but if you come back tomorrow, we'll have some broccoli. She says, okay. A few minutes later, he hears, excuse me, sir. And he turns to the same woman. She says, I can't find the broccoli in this place. And goes, ma'am, like I told you, we're all out, but if you come back tomorrow, we'll have some. Okay, she goes away, goes back to stocking. Then he gets a tap on her shoulder. It's the same woman. She goes, where is the broccoli? He goes, all right, ma'am, can you do me a favor? Can you spell the word cat, like in catastrophe? She goes, C-A-T. He goes, great. Now, can you spell dog, like in dogmatic? And she goes, D-O-G. He goes, great. Now, can you spell fuck, like in broccoli? And she goes, there's no fucking broccoli. And he goes, that's what I've been trying to tell you.
I didn't got that one.
What?
There's no fucking...
Yeah, there's no fucking broccoli. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Harrison Ford told that joke. And I
have you watched The Age of Adeline?
No, I haven't actually.
I watched that one. And Harrison Ford, isn't it?
Yeah, is he good?
He's good on it.
The guy who's in it was like a guy who did like an impression of Han Solo on YouTube years ago, and that's how he got that job, being young Harrison Ford in that. He was not brought back to be Han Solo. That went to Alden Ehrenreich. Well, I think he's actually pretty good, honestly.
I don't know, he just got like at bad.
You know what he did? The movie, like, and look, I really like Solo, but like a lot of people didn't like that movie. And so people did this weird thing to where like they'll blame actors for movies. Fucking even Kathleen Kennedy kind of blamed the movie on him. And I don't think it's right. I think he was good. I think he did what was asked of him, which is like they weren't asking for a Harrison Ford impersonator. They wanted someone who they felt like could embody what they felt a young Han Solo would be like. And honestly, I think he did it really well. It's like some of the. It's like I was listening to a video where it was a bunch of the voice actresses who have played Princess Leia, and one of them was talking about the fact that like when she was doing the project she got hired for, they weren't really looking for someone to do like a Carrie Fisher impression. They wanted someone who could just like sort of have like the mannerisms of her and sort of the strength. And I think sometimes that's what you need. And I think that's like what Alden did. Like, I think he sort of gave you like Han Solo mannerisms, but he didn't have to do a straight up Harrison Ford. You know. are some moments where he has, like, I think that moment at the beginning with Lady Proxima, to where he's like explaining why they told him the money and everything. It's just like, and you ran away with He's like, you came back with He's like, well, I ran away with my life. It's like, we learned that we cannot trust those people. I'm like, that's very like Harrison Ford, like, you know, ish. I don't know. I think
I
it's a shame that he got blamed
oh,
for everything. I
I
hope
only
they
watched
bring him
Solo.
back for something. I think he's good.
I only watched Solo when it came out in theaters. I've not watched it
You should
since.
watch it again. It to me, it's one of the more rewatchable Star Wars movies because it's just a fun like space western adventure. Not even western. It's just like a fun like space adventure, you know? Like it
Well, you, I remember when I watched it, like Paul Bettany was right as a villain.
yeah, Paul
I,
Bettany's the villain, yeah.
do you think he's good in it?
I
That's one
liked
of
him
those
in
parts.
it.
Like
I
that's
liked
one
him
of
in it.
those parts that I remember. I wasn't that much of a fan.
I mean, Solo, and it's well documented on this channel. When it first came out, I didn't like it, but I that was because two things. One, that was around the time when The Last Jedi I started to not like. I started rewatching it and just being like, this movie kind of sucks. And then also the marketing I didn't really like. And I've talked about this before. I went into Solo kind of wanting to hate it, and then surprise, surprise, I hated it. You know, which like happens. If you want to hate a movie, you can hate a movie. I'm sorry. She's
That's what.
she's she's just, if you don't pay attention to her, and because I'm talking to you, she feels like I'm ignoring her. So now she's just like, give me a second. You just talk about.
La 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 la. Like bullshit, tough bullshit.
You want to be on the show, Stella? Here. There you go. You're on the show now. Talk to Abe.
Hi, dog.
Stella! Stella! Hey, don't lick me, please. Oh my Lord Almighty. So yeah, no, all the internet can think is good. I'm glad he was in Oppenheimer. He was really good in that. I hope that opens some doors for him in a way Solo didn't, unfortunately, because the movie didn't really pan out and he got blamed for everything. Oh, you froze on me, Abe. Why'd you go get some water? Oh, and Abe is frozen. And he's back. Yeah. What were you saying before you froze? Abe. Hello? Hello? Oh, oh, kick from studio. Hit it. Hit it, Stella. Come on. Yeah. She's the bestest girl. She's the bestest. She's the bestest. She's the bestest girl. Do you see yourself, Stelly? You see yourself? You're right there. Right? You're right there. That's Stelly. Oh, what are you doing? Oh my Lord Almighty. You're too much. You're too much. Up. He's back. And he's checking his OnlyFans account.
I don't have an OnlyFans account. Well, I
You know what's
do.
funny? I was watching TikTok where it was you've seen Back to the Future Part 2, right?
As a kid, I don't remember much, but maybe you can refresh me something.
So you know Marty's dad, George McFly, in the alternate universe is dead.
Fuck, I didn't know that. I didn't remember that.
So basically there's a scene when Marty goes to his dad's grave. He's like, "No, please God, no." And it was that scene, but the caption was kids in like I forget 20 something something when they find out their moms had an OnlyFans account. It's like, no, oh please God, no.
That has some fucked up with kids' heads, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. Dude, you imagine if like some kids are just like, hey, friend your mom on OnlyFans. It's like this messed up. It's like, and I gotta feel that with like even like stuff like Playboy or Sports Illustrated like swimsuit. Like Kate Upton has kids. Like that's like you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be hard, you know?
Yeah, it's
Then
definitely gonna be hard.
fucking asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I could have like survived. I would have had to have been homeschooled. Like you're mad. Like Kate Upton, does she have sons? Because if she has sons, they can't like go to a high school, even a private school, because there will be so many kids who be like, hey, John, I saw your mom's tits online last night." Like,
I'll tell you this.
you imagine
There's
Kate Upton's son going to like his friend's room and his friend just has like one of those giant posters of Kate Upton on his wall. Like,
that's where you
what
had.
do you do in that
That's where
situation? Do
you
you
hide
ask?
who your mom is.
Do you? That's what I'm
That's
saying.
where you
That's where
hide who
you
your
have to
mom is.
pretend your mom is it. You have to pretend like that's not. You know, like you have to be like, Mom, you're not allowed to come to like any school functions ever. My school plays, my band stuff. You nope, you're not allowed. Because I'm just like, what
My
do you
mom
do in
never.
that situation? Like,
My mom never went. Anyways, and she's
like
not
what
on the
do you
fence
what
one.
do you do in that situation? Let's say you're Kate Upton's 50-year-old son. You meet a guy at school. You know, you guys start hanging out. You just and he doesn't even really know. Like he doesn't know really. And you go to his room and he's just got a poster of your mom in a bikini like on the wall. Like, what do you do in that scenario? Do you ask him to like take
Matthew,
it down? Do you say, "Hey, Hannah Davis looks really good. Here's a poster of her. Put it up instead of Kate Upton."
you just don't say anything and continue with your life. You don't make a big deal about it.
But now let's reverse it. Now you're that kid, and John asks you over his house, and you see Kate Upton's there, and it's his mom. What do you do in that
I
scenario?
Dude, we used to, in high school we used to joke a good amount about my friend's mom because
Yeah.
I mean she wasn't like Monday. Matt,
Yep.
Matthew,
Yes.
Matthew. I may
Hey.
need to cut it short because they're yelling there, and I need to attend some people that just got home.
Okay. So you want to just end it here?
Sorry for that. It's everything fine. It's just my
Okay.
sister yelling,
No, it's okay.
and I don't know how
Family,
long it's
family
gonna take.
stuff. Be family. All right. Well, that was another shortened episode of Simple Choice and Nonsense. Next week, hopefully, it will be back to its normal 3-hour runtime.
W- We're gonna do 3 hours tomorrow.
Tomorrow? All right. Well,
No, maybe.
I don't have work on Friday, so that's okay.
Nice. See you later.
But I work tomorrow, unfortunately. All right. Take care, Abe.
Oh.
Bye, everybody.